Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder aboard the Chinese P-51D-20, and this is a battle that shouldn't work the way that it did. Please don't try this at home. Do as I say, not as I do. And everybody, getting angry at me for showcasing this, you should realize that once upon a time I tried out many more things in War Thunder, and then I established more of a I know what's going to happen, I do it that way. But in the early days I was a bit more willing to experiment. Now this recently came back since the map rotation filters resulting in giving me the same maps anyways over and over again. I try to figure out how to play certain maps. The game in question here, the P-51D-20, is completely stock. It is my second battle in it, but the first battle I was shot down. There was nothing that I could do, and I still had a great run, but it was not good enough. And now I'm trying to get here the second battle in a way done that might surprise you. I am doing the one thing that I always hate about American planes. I am ground striking, but here it makes sense. And if this video proves one thing, then it proves that 50 cals are the most amazing weapon system that there is in War Thunder. And as you can see, I'm blowing up here not just only the AA, but also the light tanks. From the side, from the rear, from the top, no problems right there, with 650 cals having overall nearly 1900 rounds between them. So this is a completely stock plane with no missiles, rockets, bombs, whatever. It's just the machine guns, and it is a speciality of this map to house here those light tanks that actually cost a lot of points. So you could argue that I'm doing actually my team a favor and putting them in points lead. And to be honest, if I would play by how I would say this plane has to be played, especially at being stock, that you have to side climb, that you have to stay behind the front line of your team and be very opportunistic. Don't worry, that comes later, but very differently than you might think at first glance. And my team, what are they actually doing? Well, they are pretty busy in occupying the Japanese planes in a dogfight. Yes, so this is not going to end very well. Meanwhile, I'm racking up here the kills, and I'm racking up the very important light tank kills, because those targets, they are blinking, so they are valuable for the result of the game. I have still 23 to go. This is pointed out by the game in the bottom left corner, and I try my very best to make it 20, because there are now only, it's actually only one light tank left, and I only get some hits in, because he just went behind a ridge line. Doesn't he know who I am? I am the ender of all ground units. Okay, that was a bit much. But I am here practically now finishing the run on this sort of group of ground units. And now what? You see, the rest of my team is mostly on low altitude, and so am I. I'm low on speed, low on altitude, and low on ammunition. Well, actually, I only used roughly a third of my total ammunition count. Now, I am roughly at the same energy status of a lot of zeros, and still I'm going towards my team, because I actually noticed that one of the enemy team's fighters got his engine popped early on. He returned to base, and now he's on his way back. So I am between him and the furball that you can see in the ground, in the foreground. Now there is a zero to the right. I take a little bit of a long range pot shot at him, and then I focus here on this potato head. Quite literally, no, that's his name, and he tries to go head on. I hit him there, but not more. And he turns around. I think to myself that I have him behind me, and I get the kill. I don't know why. And then this guy, 50 cals, pilot's knife. 50 cals are just Dirty. That is so effective. They are hands down the best weapon system that there is at the moment in War Thunder. Especially when it comes to stock weapons, they are definitely the very best stock weapon system. Now, this is getting really, really dirty right now. That Zero is on fire, and that Zero seems to have a popped engine as well. So I'm taking shots at him because, you know, the guy actually causing his engine failure wouldn't get the kill anyways because of Gaijin's system. That Zero actually extinguished its fire. I cannot let it go like this, and so I also get a pilot snipe on this guy. And again, he would eventually have died, but the guy actually setting him on fire wouldn't have gotten the kill. That's my experience. There are so many people crashing fatal damage that they just have received seconds before. Hate me for it, but this is cleaning up and getting actually something out of this. With 330 machine gun rounds, I think to myself, okay, it's now time to go back to the airfield, and also my water is boiling at 121 degrees. Yeah, big surprise right there. But a little tip here is that you always have an internal overheat engine counter, and if you exceed that time webbing all over the place, then the critical overheat temperature jumps down, and you can reset this by returning to the airfield and just getting yourself a new a new engine in, or you get completely repaired, put it that way. Now, a lot of people would criticize me and say I shouldn't feature this is bad, and I agree, don't play like this. And this is probably the first battle with this intermediate result where I played like this and got away with in years. I also don't try this very often, and it's just it was a very lucky game so far. The stars aligned themselves. I was at the right place at the right time, and it paid off. But usually this doesn't happen. And still, I stand by my point, you have to side climb. Don't take this video serious. Just take it as a big lull, you know, and I wanna deliver it to you in that way. Now, I also could say that this is a gameplay that I would get more often if I would stop caring about fairness, if I would stop caring about balance, if I would stop to be honorable, so to speak, you know, and to leave the kills to those who actually deserve them. This is the most dirty gameplay I have delivered in years. So it's down to you and your reactions to see how you would actually handle the situation of a completely stock P-51, you know, where you have the experience that the Japanese fighters are just superior. Now, that's not completely true, because in theory you have the boom and zoom advantage. In theory you have the better teamwork and the high altitude performance. But to get there, that's the problem. It's the initial phase of the combat where Japanese fighters are very strong. They have good climb rate, they can turn very tightly, and they're not really that slow either. Especially when we talk about the Kia 84Co, which is incidentally the tier 4 5.3 battle rating Chinese premium fighter. Now, when I reviewed, or not really reviewed, when I had a look at the premium jet, the Shenyang F5 in the last patch, I was saying I want a rank 4 fighter. And I got one, and it is a pretty good fighter platform for the weapons. However, the weapons are bad. They are sparky, they are not doing all that much damage, they are low muzzle velocity, you don't have all that much ammunition, the shell density if you fire at somebody isn't all that great, so they are very frustrating for me, right? They're quite the opposite of German 20mm or 50 cals. So just to put this into perspective, here the Kia 61 has turned up. He let us know in chat that he's in a hurry to die, and well, actually there is a friendly I-185 in the vicinity, and I turn away. I want to use the opportunity to climb and to observe the fight of those two. If the fight goes badly for the I-185, I am far enough away and hopefully have gained a substantial altitude increase. Now, my hope is that the Ki-61 and the I-185 actually go a little bit into a dogfight and drop altitude so that I don't have really to climb all that much. And it looks good. It looks good in a way, so they are turn fighting, they are losing speed, and in just a moment they will begin to bleed altitude as well. So while the first part of the game was stupid ground striking, which actually doesn't really bring you all that much civil lines and RP, as we'll see later on in the results, it just positioned myself on this specific map under the various specific conditions in just the right place to turn up to just farm the easy kills. And there is nothing to say about this. They were stolen, they were picked up, there were lucky shots. I could have died with the very first engagement. I had no advantage except stupid luck and 50 kills. So now actually the Ki-61 is having the upper hand on the I-185 as it looks. However, the Ki-61, well, they are doing a lot of vertical maneuvers as well, and right at this moment I think that the I-185 should have the upper hand. The Ki-61's engine is smoking, he's nearly stalling out, and then the I-185 makes the critical mistake of actually setting himself below the Ki-61. He just could have hovered above him and just waited for the right moment to just drop on him. And it is right this moment where the Ki-61 actually gets the kill on the I-185. 1.2 kilometers away, a single 50 cal hit, and he's on fire. Have I mentioned that I have completely stock belts, completely stock performance? And yeah, I'm even teasing him, just, you know, hey, you could shoot me right there. And that is my ace. That is my ace, and 13 ground units, easily first place. This battle was just the definition of the stars aligning, of having stupid luck, of flying badly and getting awarded with it. There was one still left alive, but he has died probably of crashing, and enemy team has lost all of its vehicles. And yeah, I am one of 3 players left alive, and I was right behind the enemy lines right from the start. Don't play like this, don't try it. You get just a handful of not really that mandatory ground units, but yeah, this is how it paid off this time. Nearly 12,000 modification and vehicle research points, nearly 140,000 civil lines, and you can see the raw income for the 5 kills was 41,000 civil lines, and for the 13 ground units 15,000 civil lines. And then also the Thunderer and the Survivor Award, huge income. And in just a moment after we go to the player statistics, you'll see also the progress with the stock run in conjunction with the first battle that I left before it was over. So I get all the points, and I nearly tripled, or I more than tripled the score points of the second of my team. And look at this, look at this. We can completely bypass the stock grind with only 2 battles. The first battle had a 150% booster, and now we can go through all the flight performance upgrades and some of the survivability. I made the mistake of actually upgrading the 50 cals. As we saw, they're good enough. And that's it from me today. So thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Please give this video a like, but subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see each other on the battlefields, on the waves, and in the skies of War Thunder.